going to do how to factor using decomp. So the first thing I notice when I'm factoring something that needs to be decomped is it is a quadratic that has an a value other than 1. And the first thing I should always check is to see if I can divide evenly out the two, and I cannot. So that tells me it's probably a decomp question. So what I do is I take the a value and the c value and multiply those together. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 30 and that add to be negative 7. Those numbers are negative 10 and 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace negative 7x with these two numbers. So 2x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 15 equals 0. So if you look, this is the exact same quadratic, it's just expanded, because minus 10x plus 3x is negative 7x. So the next step is I take out what's common out of these first two terms. So what can I take out of 2x squared and 10x? So I can take out a 2x, and when I say take out, I mean what divides evenly? What's the greatest common factor? So 2x squared divided by 2x is x. Negative 10x divided by 2x is minus 5. Then I do the same thing here. So I'm looking for the greatest common factor between 3x and minus 15, and it's 3. What's left? 3x divided by 3 is x. Minus 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. At this point, when I'm doing decomp, if these two brackets are not the same, I've done something wrong, so I need to back up the bus. At this point now I have two terms. This is one term and this is another term. I factor out what's common. I do greatest common factor with these two terms. So what do they have in common? They both have an x minus 5. And then what I do is I take out an x minus 5 from each term, so I divide. So what's 2x squared times x minus 5 divided by x minus 5 is just 2x. Take out an x minus 5 from here and I'm just left with a 3. So those are my two factors. To get my x-intercepts, I have to set them equal to 0 and rearrange and solve for x. Be careful with this one, take your time. I subtract 3 from both sides and then I divide both sides by 2. So x equals minus 3 over 2. So that's how you factor using decomp. We're going to do one more example. So, two numbers that multiply to be 12 and add to be 8. Those two numbers are 6 and 2. So, I'm going to replace 8x with 6 and 2. When I'm placing my 6 and my 2 in here, I try and match them up. So like I'm going to put the 4x with the 2 and the 3 with the 6, because when I go to factor it out, it's going to make my life easier. So 4x squared plus 2x plus 6x plus 3. I take what's common out of here, which is a 2x. What's left is a 2x plus 1, because 4x squared divided by 2x is 2x. 2x divided by 2x is 1. And what can I take out of here? I can take out a 3. 6x divided by 3 is 2x, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. And again, I just take a minute to say, are these brackets the same? If they are, you've probably done it right. So now what's common between these two terms is a 2x plus 1. And then I divide out each of these terms by the 2x plus 1. So what's left is a 2x plus 3. Take each bracket and set it equal to 0, and then go ahead and solve for x. So subtract 1 from both sides, divide both sides by 2. Subtract 3 from both sides, and divide both sides by 2. So that's how we factor using decomp.